welcome here in this session about circular economy. So just to start the presentation, I want us to take one step back and not just look at the material, but look at the way you live in your daily life, the way you interact with the society. And you will see that in your daily life, you will find steel everywhere. So since ever, steel has been linked with human being development. Since Iron Age, we have started to use steel. We have started to use steel for hunting. We have started to use steel for manufacturing. We use steel for transportation. So if you look around you, you will find steel everywhere, in your car, in your washing machine, in the construction, in the rails, in the energy production. We find steel everywhere. And as an industry and as humankind, we need to find a way to use this steel properly and really to use it the best way we can. So globally, all of us, as human, as non-governmental organization, as state, we need to change the way we are living if we want to sustain our way of life. As you showed before, 2050, we will be 9 billion. If everyone continue to do what we are doing in Europe, in the way we are using material, in the way we are building or housing or offices, we cannot sustain this. So we need to think more how to do and how to deal with the huge amount of material, whatever the material. We use the huge amount of material we need to sustain our way of life. So I have a small film here to let you think about this.
My origin is somewhere in the depths of the earth. And my story began billions of years ago, when I was born in a blaze of fire. I helped you survive through the ages. I've changed the way you work. And I've changed the way you live. I've been part of mankind's greatest achievements. I allowed you to expand your frontiers, to explore the land, the water, the skies, and even the universe. Throughout the centuries, I was reborn again and again. I'm known for stability and strength. My quantity is measured in millions of tons, but my quality is defined in millions of an inch. I've stretched the possibilities of human imagination. I've inspired you to shape your visions and reach new heights. Once I'm back to where I came from, I can become virtually anything you can imagine. I am more versatile than I have ever been before. I'm always with you. I'll protect you and guide you. I'm all around the globe, wherever you go. I'm everywhere and will always be. I am the engine of innovation. I am the pulse of the modern world. And you'll build your future on me, because I am steel, the fabric of life.
So, as you saw in the film and in my introduction, you saw that we have steel everywhere. We use steel for everything. Of course, as an industry, we constantly try to optimize our production process, decreasing the footprint of the steel production. But that's not enough. We need to find a way to improve the efficiency of this material, the way we use it in our different parts of living. So you must know that steel is the most recycled material on the planet. Why? For two main reasons. First of all, because it's really easy to recycle. It's really easy to separate steel from other material. Steel has magnetic properties. It means just with a magnet, you can select the pieces which are made of steel. But that's not enough, because you need to do something with this recycled steel. And in the last decade, steel industry has developed a lot of production technique which allow us to recover the steel and to reduce steel. It means a lot of people are speaking about recycling. Everyone speaks about recycling. In my personal definition of recycling, you need to recover something. But then, to do the same thing with it, because you have the notion of cycle in recycling. Many people are telling they recycle, but what they do is that they valorize. Is it bad? No, it's good. But recycling is something else. It's one level up. It's to recover your material and to redo the same material with it. Here, first thing I will show to you, it's not about the way as steel industry we can improve the situation. It's the way as you, designers, architect, construction company, building user, you can influence things. If we continue to build our buildings the way we do today, it is not sustainable. So some years ago, we launched a quite significant study with the Council of Tall Building and Urban Habitat. It's an NGO which is based in United States, which take care, I would say, about all the skyscraper and everything which is used in this type of building. And first question we were asked was, is it sustainable to build tall building? Because that's the basic question. Whatever the material you use, is it sustainable to build like this? The answer from this study is yes. If every one of us want a single family house, it's not possible. We have no land enough to put all these houses. People will need to commute each day to work from a further and further distance. It means if jobs are concentrated on one area, of course, people need to live in different types of building. Then we try to look at how these buildings were made. So we have started to analyze not just the material which is needed to build this building, but all the actions that we need to do to erect such building. So first, of course, you need to produce the material, steel, concrete, rebars, any material which is used. Then you need to build this building. It means you need to manufacture this material, to form it, to transport it, to bring it to the job site, to assemble it, to cast it. So all this was, we developed methodology to take that into account. Of course, we have the life phase of the building. But then we need to think about the end of life of our building. One day, except for really special iconic building, one day, the building we build today will be destroyed. And we will need to destroy them. When you destroy a single family house, technically it's not so complex, but to destroy a 250-meter tower in the center of London, it's not the same. So we have also studied all this demolition process. And then, of course, we look at the possible recovery of the material. What can be recovered? What will be landfilled? What can be recycled? Then we took an example of building, so a 250-meter tower, and we asked structural engineers to design it. So we asked them to design it with the different technical possibilities. So in steel, composite construction, concrete construction, different type of architecture, and different type of technical possibilities. And then, as I said, we work a lot with demolition company because, in fact, no one was, we could not find in the literature what is the environmental cost to destroy such building. What are the possible technique to destroy so huge building? If we take an example, you saw in the previous slide, Burj Khalifa in Dubai. So to build this tower, it took approximately 7 years. What do you think we will need to destroy it? Of course, we can blast it, but we will destroy the half of Dubai around. It means we need to dismantle it in a proper way. The estimation of this demolition company is 14 years. So when you build building, when you design building, you need absolutely to take into account the end of life, the way you will dismantle this, the way you will recycle this building. Of course, it's not you that will do it. Perhaps it's not your children, but it will be your grandchildren that will be responsible of the mistake you made 20 or 30 years ago. So here is the output of the study. And you see many people on the planet are just using concrete to make this type of building. But you see the 3 other parts are not pure steel. It's basically impossible to make such building only with steel. It's composite construction, a mix between steel and concrete. And you can see that we can decrease significantly the footprint of such building. This has nothing to deal with improvement in the material and so on. It has to deal with the way you are designing, in the way you are using the materials. Closer to us, a smaller building, you know, not a tower, a smaller building, 8 floors. We based this study on design, which was realized in concrete by Cimbeton. It's the French association of concrete. And the most optimum building they used was steel reinforced concrete for columns and beams, central stabilization core, and of course prefab element for the floors, the way to optimize the amount of material with pre-stressed hollow core slab. And then we ask, again, engineering firm to think the building in a different way. And we ask them to optimize it. Is it purely in steel? No. Once again, it's composite construction. So we have steel sections. We have stabilization by steel grid. But we have a composite floor. It means we have a floor which is composed of corrugated sheet and concrete, and the steel is connected to the floor. So it's a quite advanced design. But once again, playing with the design and using the right material at the right place, you can significantly improve the sustainability of our building. The first 2 columns is the discrepancy between the 2 solutions before demolition. And the second one is after demolition and recovery of the material. So you saw this slide before. Today, our usual economy is linear. It means make, take, waste. What we need to do is to change this. So you saw that recycling, it's something which is really important. But what we need to think when we design a building today, it's to go beyond this. And to design the building, to have the component of this building, which can be reused after and not demolished and recycled. So many people, many architects, when we discuss with them, they think that this will never happen, that it's a dream, that it's basically impossible. I already heard that in the past. What we need is to think differently, really to think our building in another way. Is it complex? I'm not sure. Already in the 60s, they were able to design building which can be dismantled and rebuilt. So here it's a small example from Belgium. Another one from Belgium. I don't know if you heard, but I'm coming from Belgium. It's why I know these examples. And here it's another way to think about our material, to think about our business model. The different component of a building can become an asset. Today, when we demolish a building, we think all these things are waste. No, it can be an asset which has a value and that we can really reuse in further building. Here is my last example. It's one building close to where I'm working in Luxembourg. It's the European Court of Justice. And it was a quite old building. It was one of the first buildings that has been built in the in the city part of Luxembourg, where you have all the banks and so on. And several years ago, Dominique Perrault, French architect, was missioned to totally refurbish this building. What has he done? He didn't make the usual refurbishment. He dismantled totally the building, but he didn't destroy it. So, in fact, all the steel parts were disassembled. That's what is really great with steel. It's that it's bolted. It's just assembled. So what you can assemble, you can disassemble. He recovered all the parts. Of course, the concrete part was destroyed because it was impossible to dismantle it. You see on the left there, they recycled the steel part. And then all the steel parts were cleaned out, repainted, and reused for the new building. So the new building has not exactly the shape of the old one. It was not just removing and rebuilding. If you look, you have some connections which are not at the right place anymore and so on. So they adapted the structure to the new architecture of the building. So here you see that's the main lobby of this huge building that has been totally transformed. But it's totally made of reused material. So it's feasible. So when you design your buildings, when you think about them, think one step further. Sustainability, it's not short term. All the people that will tell you that they can change everything tomorrow, it's impossible. We need to change the way we are thinking our building, and really looking at long term, 10, 20, 30 years after. Of course, this will require some investment, some personal investment, but for me, it's the only way for us to sustain the challenges we have in front of us. So thank you for your attention.